One extra, DJ Ace in the house. I got an opportunity to see a very exciting movie this week. I really enjoyed it. And happy to have the star of the movie in front of me right now, the very awesome Chadwick Boseman. What's going on, sir?
Oh, man, it's so good to be here, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're no stranger to the UK. And I've actually found out why you used to live here for a little bit, right?
Live is a strong word.
Oh, you studied here.
I studied here, but it didn't feel like I definitely didn't feel like I had my stakes in the ground here, but I was just basically getting up, reading, having people tell me what good theater was every day, and then I went home.
That was it?
That was it.
It's a quick one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's quickly talk about the movie. Well, not quickly, because that's the reason you're here, but the movie 21 Bridges, man. Awesome movie. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, basically, there are 8 cops that are killed, and I'm a detective, NYPD detective that comes in, and I shut down Manhattan on a manhunt.
Right.
And so it's one of those, essentially it's a anti-hero cop thriller.
Right.
It's supposed to keep you on the edge of your seat. People are telling me that it does.
Right.
I won't say it myself, but I feel like we made a good movie here.
I definitely agree, man. Was it hard after the euphoria, the amazing hugeness of Black Panther to kind of shake off the T'Challa juice?
It was. I don't think you shake it off.
Okay, you still got it.
I think you gotta use a little bit of T'Challa juice.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta keep a little bit of juice, especially in the hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was fun to just try something else. That was more grounded in the movies that I grew up on, and movies that those are the type of movies that have the actors that I enjoy watching.
Right.
The Pacinos, the Neros, Joe Pesci's, the Denzel Washingtons. Those movies that they still made a lot anymore.
Right.
Because the studios are making big budget superhero movies that I just came out of. They're not putting money into the anti-hero movies, those like $20-30 million movies anymore. So it was great to make one of those and give it to an audience.
Well, coming off the back of Black Panther, did you think it would be difficult for people to see you as anything but T'Challa?
Nah.
Because I'm watching this and I see a New York City police officer.
Good.
So you done a good job. But do you have that little in the back of your mind thinking, I got to make sure this is so far away from T'Challa as possible?
No, well, the thing about it is I did movies before Black Panther, before my Marvel experience, that were grounded in a different type of reality. I did, I'm known for doing biopics.
Yes.
So for me, it's like just being able to play a character that is not fantasy.
Right.
I'm more at home doing that. So I feel like I already have an audience that knows me for that.
Right.
So it's not like that's the first time you see me. For some people, it might be their first time experiencing me, but I think I have enough of my regular audience members that still follow.
Your dialogue is something I think that you are top of the game at. Like whoever you're playing, whether it is for a biopic or it's T'Challa or it's Andre Davis, you make sure you get the dialect down. You sounded so New York in this. Is that something that you
Thank you, man.
No, there's a part when you're breaking down why you shouldn't go to certain areas and you're talking about the different boroughs in New York. How do you lock into that accent?
I spent, I lived in New York for a little while, and I study people. I have family members there still. So I just listen. Yeah, I think the most important thing before you talk is always listen.
Right.
So I listen to people, and I think you have to, essentially when you play a character, you can't talk like yourself for most of the day. You have to spend your time, sort of staying in that world and staying in that sound. And as long as you do it every day, when you step on screen, it will feel second nature to you.
You must have done a lot of training for this. Obviously, you did a lot of training for your previous movies, but this one, it was a lot of weaponry.
It was.
Yeah. Did you do a lot of gun training?
To me, that was the way to get into the mindset of the character.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the body of the character also gives you the mindset. So before we went to New York to start the pre-production, I trained with the Los Angeles retired Los Angeles cop, who basically we went to the firing range 3-4 times a week. shooting 500 rounds every time we go, and it was important to shoot live rounds so you know what's real danger, what's it like to really hold a firearm, you know, making sure that you're safe, you know, making sure you understand the ramifications of what you're doing. And throughout that, he would talk to me about, you know, what it's like to be a real police officer. And then when I went to New York, there were always detectives on set. And so in pre-production, I did ride-alongs with them. I did SWAT training. You
did ride-alongs with them?
Yeah, we did ride-alongs.
Really?
We cleared rooms. Sienna and I both, actually. You know, we learned how to clear rooms. And
so wait, you saw some real stuff while doing this?
I saw some real. I'm not gonna talk. I can't talk about what I saw.
Okay, wow.
But yeah, you know, it was interesting just being. Let me tell you something. If you go do a crime in New York, don't do it outside. Because there are cameras everywhere. That whole like iron ring camera thing they talk about in the movie, that's real. Like they can pull up a camera. I don't care what neighborhood you in. There's a camera watching you do that crime in New York. So I got to see how real that was when I was with them.
I can imagine. I'm just imagining being a criminal, doing my dirt, and I get caught by the police, and Chadwick Boseman is in the police car watching me get into it. That's crazy.
Wow.
You know what? I always watch this. I don't even know why, but like I kind of study the way people handle guns in those kind of movies.
Right.
And I feel like you had a style. Was there somebody that you kind of based that on in the way that you handle your machine?
No, the thing about it is we were firing for real. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So. It came down to like, how do I actually shoot well? You know what I'm saying? We got to the point where chick was basically like, yo, you see that target, you know, 40 feet away, 50 feet away, however many feet away, how many yards away, hit that. And I would have to hit it. You know what I'm saying? So it became like, how do I really shoot well? This is how you're supposed to do it. This, because of your hand size, you might have to do this and that to change it. So it was real for me. It was like, this is how I really shoot.
That's crazy. I mean,
you know, are you left eye dominant, right eye dominant?
Yeah.
I had to find out all that stuff for real.
How does a movie like that get shot? Because I'm not giving away any of it, but you guys literally shoot around the whole of New York. There's a lot of running through the streets. There's a lot of like even subways, loads of different things.
Yeah.
Is that difficult to get those permission to have?
Yes, it is. Shooting in New York is like, it's a feat because people always want to watch what's going on.
I can imagine.
Like and a lot of times people think stuff is real. And then you also have paparazzi who don't care about your permits. Right. They're gonna get their shot anyway. They're gonna actually end up in the movie at certain times. Like we have shots where paparazzi are trying to shoot us.
No way.
And they're in shots. They actually like.
You have to just leave it in there.
You're like, we can't use this. Here he goes again. This guy.
TMZ.
So yeah, it's and the whole movie was not shot in some parts of it. We went to Philadelphia nearby to shoot it because it was easier. We didn't have the same problems that you would have in New York, but yeah, we did shoot in New York, and it's really hard to sustain something in New York. So.
I can imagine. All right, it's your boy Ace hanging out with Chadwick Boseman right now. Starred a brand new movie, 21 Bridges. I've seen it. Awesome movie. Go check it out. But we just played Kendrick Lamar and SZA, All the Stars. Obviously, from one of the biggest movies of all time, Black Panther. Yep. I mean, so many questions. We ain't got a lot of time, but like, what is the legacy of that movie to you? Like, how does it feel to be part of such an amazing time?
Oh,
and a moment in Hollywood history.
The funny thing about it is when I think about the movie, I think about the work that we put into it.
Right.
I think about the conversations that I had with Ryan before we started, you know what I'm saying? And actually living up to those things. I think about the cast members, like some of the things that we wanted to do, the Nia, Lupita, Tish, like it was even just watching Tish's development, you know, and watching her come in and as a fresh face and then having her own it and then seeing it up on the screen and people gravitate towards that character. So for me, I think of the work more so than how people respond. It's how people responded to it, but I know what came before.
Right.
And I sort of cherish, I cherish like, oh wow, we actually did what we said we were gonna do. So for me, it's all about that. It's all about like, when you have things in your head, you see them come into fruition, and you see people like say, "Hey, I love this," and you wanted that to happen. That's what's amazing about it.
I love that you mentioned Tish. I mean, we're so very proud of her over here. Like, what do you think the future is for her?
I mean, it's no limit.
Right.
There's no limit to what she can do, because I think she has everything. She has the grit that you need to play any character. She has the innocence that you need. She has a sense of humor. There's no, she's got the swag. She has the swag. So there's no limit. I just can't wait to see what she does.
They announced Black Panther 2. I mean, obviously we wanted it, but it feels like far away, man. It feels like does it feel as far away for you as it does for the fans of Black Panther?
It does not feel far away.
Does it not? It feels ages away.
Well, see, the funny thing about it is, it's like making a movie is it's a marathon,
right?
And making that type of movie, it's like it takes so much planning. So like the amount of planning that it took to do the first one, it's the same amount of time. You know what I'm saying? It's the same amount of time. It's the same amount of like from pre-production, production, post-production. It's the same amount of time. It's just that y'all are experiencing it with us now.
And we want it now.
You want it right now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Well, speaking of production, we know that a lot of Black Panther was shot at the Tyler Perry Studios.
Right.
And obviously only now we're starting to see what that actually the Tyler Perry Studios are actually. He had the big launch.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like shooting there, and like, what does that mean to you as a black actor in Hollywood to have a guy like Tyler Perry have his own studio lot?
The funny thing about it is, it's while we were shooting there, because you're shooting at the studio doesn't mean you're gonna see him.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think of what are all the scenes we shot there, because that's helpful. So a lot of the stuff on the train at the end is shot there. The fight between Michael and I at the end is shot there. Like the night before, because we shot it actually in 3 different studios in Atlanta.
Right.
The night before, I want to say 2 or 3 nights before we started shooting it, actually, I was at a restaurant and Tyler was in there. And I didn't know it, and he sent over drinks, or he actually bought our whole meal.
All of it?
He bought the whole meal, actually.
Wow.
Now that I think about it, he bought our whole meal, and then came over and talked to us. And for me, that's what it is. It's like there's a personable aspect to the studio. That is, here's a person that's looking out for you. It's a door that was not open before. That's what it is to me, is that, things become more tangible to you when you see somebody do something that it's like, oh man, that they look like me. Inspiring. They feel like me. It inspires me. But then also, they also did it for that reason, so you would be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
So, for me, that's what it is. It a lot of times people think of Hollywood, they say, well, it feels like something that you can't reach.
Right.
But Hollywood, where is it exactly? What is it exactly? It's to say that it's what you make it, he's showing that. He's by actually, I'm going to build my own studio.
Right.
I'm going to rent this out to the other studios so they can use it.
Right.
It's a power move that is one of those things where you actually can create your own reality.
It's dope, man. It's just amazing to see. And like you said, it's inspiring to all of us as well. So
yeah,
big up to Tyler Perry. Before we leave, I gotta say, you are amazing at being other people. That is what I gotta say. You're just an amazing and I love biopics. That's like one of my favorite genres in terms of movies. Is there a biopic that you'd like to tackle before you hang it up?
Oh man, it's a couple.
Yeah.
It's a couple. Yeah. I can't tell you.
Oh, 'cause you don't want it to get stolen.
No, yeah, I don't want it to get stolen.
Right.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. It's a couple. It's a couple that I would like to do. They're probably not ones that you would that people would think of.
Yes.
You know, like, you know, it's not like Joe Lewis or anything like that you would think of. But yeah, there are a couple of characters that I would love to play. You know, people that should be more famous, or people that are, you know, not known at all.
Yeah.
You know, but they're still biopics.
I can't imagine the pressure and how difficult it is to be somebody that people already knew. Like,
Right.
is that hard on you? Is it difficult? Is it stressful?
It is. It is. I mean, I think what you do when you do it is like you have to have your own sort of standard, your own thing that you're looking for. You're painting a picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if I paint a picture, I'm not painting everything. I have to choose, because I only have so much time. I mean, also, I have to choose what is important. Is this line important? Is that line important? Is this color important? Is this depth of feel important? Like what parts of it am I painting? And so you enter it from those spaces, and then you sort of let the spirit lead you after that. At a certain point, there's something that takes over. You just go with that. You can't worry about what other people are saying. Now later on, after you've done it, that comes back into play again. Oh, I hope the family likes this. I hope, you know, I hope his friends, I hope the people that knew this person, I hope the band members, like if you talk about James Brown. But when you started, you have to just kind of jump in, dive in, and pray that it works.
And it does. And Andre Davis works as well, even though I don't think he's a real person.
He's not a real person.
He's a fictional character in 21 Bridges. I want everyone to make sure they go see that. Thank you very much for joining us, Chadwick, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful experience.
Awesome.